tell us a little bit about what makes you an interesting person.
Well, interesting person. Personality wise, I'm pretty eccentric. I was in theater for forever, so like I make weird faces, I do weird voices. Like if you know me and once I get comfortable with you, I'm pretty just kind of extroverted within that comfort zone. So like I'll just kind of be crazy, and I'm also a pretty sarcastic person. So I kind of like with people I know and I'm comfortable with, I'm pretty much of take stabs at them. Savage is what they like to call it. Some people. So I did theater, which then led to musical theater in middle school. And I've always loved to drum. That was my first thing. Like as a little kid, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a drummer. Right, I like, killed every level on Rock Band on expert, and I was like, oh, obviously I'm gonna be like the next big drummer. And so that kind of got me into rhythm and into movement, into creating sound. And then when I started doing theater in high school, I just loved singing, and I loved that it was a talent you could take anywhere. It wasn't, you have your instrument on you at all times. Everyone loves people who can sing. It's a gift you can bring and share with people. But writing stuff that kind of started kind of late middle school, early high school. For me, music's super emotional, and the music I love is music I connect with emotionally. So for me, like if I'm writing something that's super to do with my emotions, I want to be able to kind of have a catalyst that's also emotional, and music was the kind of the perfect solution. So I realized I wanted to be able to write my own music. It's an inexpressible experience. There's no words for music. It's universal, right? From like birds chirping, and we say that's sweet music, or different things. Those are sounds. Those are experiences. That's one of the five senses that we experience the world in. And so music takes up, completely captivates our sound and what we hear. It's not about a full band, and it's not about just a musical experience. It's about sharing a message. And I think you get a message more when you don't just kind of overload it with instruments. And so for me, all my music is not about the music, right? All my songs can be played with the same 6 to 7 chords. The things that make my songs different from each other is the words I'm saying. I think the reason I love writing music is I get to express these big concepts, right? Things that people spend, sermons and speeches on, whether or not it's how guys treat girls, whether or not it's, falling in or out of love, whether or not it's just like heartbreak and losing a friend or moving away, right? Like big kind of thematic emotional experiences that we go through. Being able to capture that in like 6 lines, I think is a really cool talent. I think it's a really cool way of giving people a really quick answer, right? Like you listen to a song, you're like, that just gets me. And it's like, that was 3 minutes, and yet you feel totally understood and you relate to it. And so for me, it's self-expression of like, there's a lot of things that I'm really passionate about. Well, I guess not a lot of number of things, but there's a couple things that I'm extremely passionate about. Definitely have had some success. I've had the opportunity to meet some really cool people and be able to work with them. I've written a couple of songs that have been shopped to other artists and other bands that have like made their music, and so I've been able to make money as a writer. And then I've been able to fly out to California and record some of my own music, but that's still something that I've been able to have on iTunes, and people can go to that and say, oh, you're a little more legitimate than maybe the average person. I'm given artistic freedom because I have no kind of big boss pushing me around saying this is what you have to do, because I'm not going to go there. I'm not dependent on them for my music to be heard. I've really pursued social media. Obviously, the world that we're in now, you no longer go and sell yourself to a record label in a meeting.
Yeah.
The record label waits until they see people that have a big enough following, and they say, we want you, because a following represents ticket sales to them. And so they would rather go with the person that they have guaranteed, 500,000 ticket sales out of, 4 million followers. And we're going to hire you, and we're going to sign you, even though it has nothing to do with your talent, has nothing to do with anything about your product. We only know that people love you already. I do a live stream in a part of my show. It's where I say, hey, do you have any questions about life? Questions about, why do people bully me? What do you do when a guy hurts you and lies to you? What do you do when your parents split up? And these are obviously not answers that I have the right answer to, because I don't think there's right answers to these questions. But I can say, hey, you are great. You are worth something. You're an awesome person. And even though I've never met this person, I might not even know what they look like, the message of they're beautiful and they're a great human being, that's true. I know that's true. And I'm able to say that with full confidence, and hopefully they believe that, because I don't need to know them to know that they're great. I don't need to know them for them to know that they are worth something. And that's a platform for me to be able to share those kind of messages. And so if I'm able to say that, heck yeah, I'm going to make sure that I keep my Instagram updated. Heck yeah, I'm going to make sure that I keep posting and I keep doing live streams. And while other people might be like, oh, you're super self-centered, or oh, you just, you get your self-worth from your digital presence. Definitely, there's a human part of me that loves it, right? There's definitely an aspect of I love this feeling, but at the end of the day, it's way more work than most people think, right? Setting aside 3 hours to sit in front of your phone and talk to no one, but read these messages and just be super animated and engaged, right? If you talk to anybody who's a performer, after an hour show, you're exhausted. And it's essentially the same thing. And so you put a lot of work into it. And so if it doesn't have like legitimate rewarding kind of qualities other than boosting your self-esteem, nobody's going to stick with it. And so, yeah, a lot of people don't get it. A lot of people don't realize the work. That's, I think, the biggest thing. The amount of energy and work you have to put into maintaining social media. I used to think, oh, YouTubers, like, what are you, like, you do nothing. Like, you make one YouTube video a week, and that's your job. Someone pays you to do that. And now I've realized that between editing, filming, planning, and creating something unique that makes it special, it's a lot of time. There's a lot of effort that goes into doing that stuff. I went rollerblading in Austin with a couple of my friends for not my birthday, but a friend's birthday, and we went there, and there were these 3 girls that would like rollerblade around us, and you just kind of go in a circle, and they like kept looking at us. And one of my friends had heard them say my name, and they were like, Dave, are those your fans? And I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way that like in this random place where I barely started this like online presence, there's no way that someone knows me. And sure enough, they were like, oh my gosh, we follow you on YouTube. But it's been the little things, getting messages on whether or not Snapchat or Twitter or Instagram that say, hey, Dave, my parents just got divorced, and I'm getting bullied at school, and self-confidence and self-worth that you talked about tonight, that really spoke a lot to me. Things like, hey, Dave, I haven't been to church in 2 years, but I'm going this Sunday because you talk about your faith, and that makes you look like a really happy person, and I want that happiness too. That will be worth more than 1 million seats sold for me, because that's life change. That's like actual change and influence in someone's life versus making them smile for 30 minutes, making them, get lit for 30 minutes, right? Like, that's real effect using the gifts that God's given me and all these things. And so those stick out to me, of not like, oh, I have, 4,000 people watching me online right now. It's more like, oh, one person's life has been affected in a positive way because of the things that I have chosen to do and say online. You get made fun of a lot as a 20-year-old college guy who cares about his Instagram and like who says, hey, I can't hang out, I'm doing a live stream. Oh, what does that mean? Oh, I'm talking to a bunch of virtual 12-year-olds online and singing for them, right? They're real people, but it's my phone. I just can see their messages, and I just can see their chats. Yeah, that's a struggle. That's obviously an obstacle in life, but it's worth it because of the value of people, saying things like that and letting me know that God's used me and what I know and what I believe to be effective in their lives. And I don't know that sets me apart. That might actually hurt me strategically as a musician because I care more about like the content versus like being popular, right? So my music might not catch on, but I would rather my music not catch on and maintain the quality of music and the quality of message that I want to than sell myself short and my entire music career feel like I've missed out on being able to impact people the way that I should. So when it comes to knowing me as an artist, yes, I'll sing for you. Yes, I'll play guitar for you, and I will write music, and I will produce things that you can experience in your car on the way home. But I would rather be sitting next to you, listening to your story, than entertaining you with frivolous music. And so that's my message at the end of the day.